Alright, so what I want to try and do here is move the wagon. Instead of having like straight like this, I want it to be a bit more kind of like this angle, have the front over here. It's gonna be a lot of work. It's uphill, it's a wagon, it's heavy, and it's all-wheel drive. Hey, what's good? Stop yelling. He just doesn't care. Every day. Every single day. You done? He's not, he's talking a lot of crap up there. Anyways, the wagon's gonna get put this way, hopefully. It's really heavy, here we go. So, I think we can go back a little bit first, and I'll turn the wheel this way, and then we can bring it in, and then try. Oh, I don't wanna move this car. Such a heavy beast. One. Oh my god. Oh my god. I told you it's heavy. One. Oh my, dude, it's not budging. It's not, the brakes are gonna be locked up, hang on. Let me turn it straight quick. It might be just locked up. So we can go back all right now. I think the brakes are locked up a little bit in the back.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's not, you know what, we're not. It's a bit, yeah, right here's fine. Right here's fine. I like this spot actually better. This is good. This is fine. It's fine. Okay, well, we tried our best to move the car. At first, I thought it was the e-brake in the back that was locked up, but it's actually not that. If you guys remember, the engine on this car is actually seized up right now. One of the rod bearing caps or something in the bottom end broke. We had all those metal shavings in the oil pan, which are sitting in the passenger seat right now. But I thought it was the e-brake that we couldn't move the car, but it's actually because the engine itself is locked up, which is why the car cannot roll. I know a lot of you guys are new to the channel and haven't really seen or know anything about this car. This is actually my buddy Steve's 1998, I want to say, Golf 3 variant synchro, and it's also a 3-liter VR6 turbo. The car is awesome. It was making somewhere between 350 to 400 wheel before it actually broke, and then he's done a deployment out of the country right now, so the car is sitting with me at my house. The plan is to rebuild the bottom end or get a new block. We're not sure what's wrong completely just yet, but if you remember the videos where I pulled the oil pan off, we found all these metal shavings in the oil pan, whether they're rod bearing caps or, I'm not the biggest expert on bottom end pieces. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of metal pieces that were down there. I'm not quite sure what it's from. The plan was, once he got back, to pull the engine, go through the entire thing, either rebuild the bottom end or just get a new bottom end and just swap it in, get the car back on the road, one of the two. He won't be back for another, I don't even know how long, 3-4 months, maybe longer than that. But tomorrow I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling the head off and just kind of digging down from the top side down to see what we can find, so he knows when he gets back whether he needs a new bottom end or we can just rebuild one little piece of it. For you guys who haven't seen the engine bay yet, this is it. It was a 2.9 VR6, it's now a 3-liter bottom end, short ram intake, I'm not sure what brand, Garrett turbo back there, I don't know what size, but it's a pretty decent size. Mega Squirt standalone, which is this gray connector right there. He can also run off the black connector, his factory ECU if he wants to swap back and forth, oil catch can and things here and there. I don't know every detail to this build, but I do know it's a 3-liter bottom end. I think it has stock cams, but it was making good power at about 18 PSI. He was making between like 350 and 400 wheel. But yeah, it's a pretty cool build. Like I said, something in the bottom end went bad. We pulled all that metal out of there. And then tomorrow I'm going to start going ahead and just pulling off the top end and working my way down and just see what else I can see, because he wants to know when he gets back what he's going to need to actually replace, whether he can rebuild the bottom end or just get a whole new bottom end and swap it in. We don't know yet, but I'm going to go ahead and start just pulling this thing apart tomorrow. And maybe while all the turbo goodies are off of this VR6, we slap it on Miley and have some fun for a little while. Who knows? I really do miss this thing. Just kind of sitting here. I haven't popped the hood in this car in a really long time, but to have it open again, like seal this stuff, is like, it was so much fun cruising this car. I'm gonna put some clips in right now for those of you who have never heard this car run, but this thing was dope. It sounded ridiculous and it was fast and it was just awesome. The VR6 turbo, like you guys know I love the 12 VR6 already, but now the VR6 turbo, it's just like, it makes good sounds. It's awesome. It's so sick. Oh my god. It's currently day 2. I think it's Friday today. I'm losing track of days, honestly, but we're gonna go ahead and get started pulling this VR6 apart. because it is time. It is time. And before anyone thinks I'm just pulling Steve's car apart just to basically pull it apart because I'm bored, that's not the case at all. Talked to him yesterday. He actually wants me to go through the entire thing, see if we can't find anything else that might be wrong with it besides the metal piece we found before in the oil pan. It may just be that, or there might be more, but he wants to start ordering parts, get this car back on the road whenever he gets back. So I'm gonna start going through it, so we can't find anything else wrong with it, but hopefully it's just the pieces we found, and it's not too much of a rebuild. He might need a new bottom end, he might rebuild it, we're not quite sure just yet. All right, boys, let the fun begin. We're gonna go ahead and drain the coolant first. The oil has already been out of the car, so that's already out of the way. Once that is gone, the goal is to get the head and all this other stuff out of the way so we can see the top side of the block, and we've already seen the bottom side. So we're just looking for anything else that might be damaged or broken or whatever else we can find on the way down. All right, we've got our bucket here to catch the coolant. The issue is this intercooler piping right here, this one, is a bit in my way. I'm trying to get down to right there, but the piping is on the way, so it's a bit tighter than normal, but hopefully we can get it off, drain the coolant, and get started. All right, we got it, and I repeated my poor vice grip, but we got it. I actually had to use this pry bar to reach down from the top side to push it off because like it's so tight on there I couldn't get the hose to come off. But step one is done. I apologize in advance today if there's any camera angles that are bad because I thought I had my tripods with me, but I apparently left them in Florida, so that's of no use right now. So bear with me here. Also be interesting pulling apart an engine that's not mine. I mean, I know the basis of a VR6 and that's simple, but all this intercooler piping and the oil feed line here, the oil return, or one of the two, that's all a little bit new to me, but we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Thought this was kind of interesting. So this one right here is actually the turbo feed line and the drains on the bottom side. But most VR6 turbo that I've seen that have the feed line, they come from the oil cooler on the front side of the block and it runs around to the back and feeds to the turbo. This one actually goes down to a banjo bolt right there. So that bolt, the big one down there, is for the screw that goes in that puts tension on your chain, and a little banjo bolt there, so the oil is coming from there to here versus the front side. That was kind of cool. I haven't seen it like this. Making good progress. This is now disconnected, and this is also out of the way over here. We're gonna go ahead and work on the turbo manifold and the turbo at this point. It should just be heat shield, the bolt for the manifold itself, and we're gonna unbolt the turbo from the downpipe right here because that can just stay in the car. That won't be in the way. Take our feed line off, and I think that may be it. We might find another thing after that, but I think that's the basis of it. So with the heat shield out of the way, we can see a bit better now. There's gonna be 6 bolts on top of the manifold, 6 on the bottom side. That'll release this from the engine itself, but we need to take 4 off of the back of the turbo, 2 off the wastegate. That'll release this from the downpipe here, and then these ones off of the drain, the oil feed line here. Should be good. The oil drain line's already out of the oil pan on the bottom, so after that we should be able to pull the entire thing out as one unit, hopefully, and hopefully clear this. Hopefully it clears that. So I'm learning these exhaust manifold bolts are kind of annoying to get to because you can't fit a socket on any of these top ones because it hits the top of the manifold here. So can't use that. I'm using this this open-ended wrench here. That I was using the 13 on, but the 13 seemed kind of loose and I didn't want to strip it, so I'm using the 1/2 inch here. So it's nice and tight. And I'm having to pop them off. But we're getting there. I'm just worried that the ones on the bottom are gonna be super obnoxious to get to, because on the top side I can use this mallet, but on the bottom side it's gonna be a giant pain to actually get to those bolts. And I think there's only 4 on the bottom, if I remember correctly. There's 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 on the far. I think there's 4. 6 on top, 4 on the bottom. Progress, little by little. Little by little. But yeah, I don't really like this manifold because I can't use the socket on, which is kind of annoying. These bolts are on here really good. Here we go. Baby steps. Once they break free, they're nice because they just spin right off, which is nice. Little by little. All Alright, so slight change of plans. The original idea was to unbolt all the nuts off the top of the manifold here, have all this come off as one. The 4 bolts on the bottom I can barely get to. They're like such an awkward spot. And again, same as the top, you can't fit a socket on any of them. And to try and use a wrench on the bottom side, I can't quite see, and the fitment's kind of awkward. And I don't want to strip any of those. So I'm going to pull the turbo off of the manifold and also unbolt from here. I already pulled this line off of the banjo bolt over there. So this will come out by itself, and then we'll pull the exhaust manifold off with the head that comes out. And we'll just not worry about the bolts on the bottom because I don't want to strip them and mess them up. So we'll just skip it all together. So I'm learning very quickly that turbos mounted in the back side of the engine are super obnoxious, hence my current position literally on top of the engine here. I'm trying to get to the very last bolt that's back here on the back side of the turbo that connects the turbo to the downpipe here, but I can't get anything in there. Like there's like, you can't go straight down because obviously you're gonna hit this right here. I can't go for the back. There's just not enough room. I can't get a socket on it. I can't get a wrench on it. It's just like, oh, it's super obnoxious. I'm getting closer, but like, come on. I think I just about got it. Please get out of there. Was that it? Oh, now my wrench is stuck, but I think I got it. Please get out of there. Please get out of there. I don't even care if you fall at this point, just get off. Can I spin it by hand? No, I can't. I think. All I know is that whenever I build my car into VR6 Turbo, I'm going to do everything in my power to avoid things like this. Because this is just no fun. Oh! I got you. I finally got it. That was stupid. Alright. Moving on. Give me a hinge bay. And tell you what, I rubbed my arm all over this on accident, and I totally forgot, and now my arm is like on fire and all itchy, and I can feel all like the fiberglass pieces in my arm, and yeah, that was a mistake. But we are on to the 4 bolts that hold the turbo now to the exhaust manifold. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Once those are off, we should, in theory, be able to pull the turbo out of there. I hope. Slowly but surely we're getting there. It also looks like down here, right above my finger. Oh, you're falling. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, right above my finger, right here, it looks like the oil drain line was leaking a bit as well. So once I pull the turbo out, we'll kind of inspect that, because there's been some oil leaking down there. Alright, we're down to the final bolt here that's holding the turbo on, and after this one's out, we should be able to wiggle it out of there. All these awkward positions, you can get like half a wrench on it. Super annoying, but we're getting there. Are you off here, guy? What do you need? Yes, alright, that one's out. Should be able to slide it this way. Oh, maybe not. Hold on. So the irritating part is, so half of the bolts for the turbo here, the nut came off with the stud. So I would just be able to pull it straight out. So 3 of the 4 of this one came out with the stud. The 4th one down there, the stud stayed in. And then over here for the downpipe, 2 of the 4 studs came out and 2 stayed in. So one of these has to go, because now I'm kind of stuck between both. I might be able to wiggle it this way enough though. Let's see. Please. Please. There's like no play in this downpipe at all. I think it's solid. Hold on. If I can make this move a little bit further this way, we can get it out of there. You got this. Maybe you don't got this. Like, we were really close. Like, this is kind of annoying. Come on. Come on, guy. I'd like for the turbo to come off and go this way, but it doesn't want to come off at all because it's stupid. Okay, we might have to revise this for a second. Alright, so since there's not enough movement to actually pull the turbo off due to there being one stud down here and two up here, I can't get it to move enough. This is still stuck in place. I think once I undo the wastegate here and free up this bottom piece of the pipe, this whole thing should be able to move a little bit that way, then we can get this out. So I was able to get the top bolt out of the wastegate here, but the bottom one is, I can't get to it really. Most of this stuff must have been mounted outside of the engine bay and then got put in together because like there's just no room to get under this blindly. There's no room to even move your hand. So I got kind of upset. I was kind of just shaking this and look, it actually came free. So now I should be able to wiggle the entire thing out. All right, boys, here we go. Moment of truth. Our drain line's out, our feed line's out, and all I need to do is scoot this whole thing backwards just a little bit, and hopefully we can get it off this bottom stud and out of the car. But my luck, it's not gonna work still. Oh, come on. I need like 5 millimeters, not even that. Just a tiny little bit. We're hitting the firewall though. Yes! Give me this thing. Get out of there. And bring up the feed line or the drain line. Great success, we did it. We did it. Oh. We got it, boys. The Turbski is finally out. I think now with the turbo out of the way, I might be able to reach up underneath here and get to that last bolt on the bottom side of the wastegate and unbolt that as well. But we're making some progress finally. Honestly, in my head, I thought I would have all this off today, which if I didn't have to deal with that for as long as I did, this would have been a cake. Like, this is so much easier to pull off, and it's just, that took forever. But we got it off. And then you can see a bit of a oil leak around this section here on the drain line of the turbo. The other side seems to be okay, no issues, but this top section had a little bit of a leak going on. Nothing crazy, but you don't want a leaky turbo. Finally got this stupid little screw out. That took so annoyingly long, but finally now the wastegate is officially off. So once this is gonna have to stay on here, this will come off with the head because I can't get to the bottom bolts. But at least all this section is now freed up and we can go ahead and work on this section probably tomorrow. I think at this point, this is where we will stop for today. We actually just made a call to Benji's. We're gonna go pick up our food in just a minute because we obviously can't go inside anymore. But they just passed a new law in Germany. You're not allowed to go within or outside of 30 kilometers from your house. And if you get caught outside of that 30 kilometers and don't have like a good reason, like for work or something like that, you can get fined a lot of money. One of the guys from the Air Force just got caught, I think yesterday or today, and they fined this man 25,000 euro for being outside of that 30 kilometer like radius. So yeah, we don't want to play no games because 25,000 euro, that's just that's stupid. And what really sucks is I was planning on taking the HREs back over to TBR, which is a powder coating shop, because they're actually still open, but their shop is 38 kilometers away. We can't go past 30. Could I possibly risk it and make it there and back and I get in trouble? Maybe, but is it worth it? If I get caught, I mean, they're setting up checkpoints all over, like checking people where they're going. If they don't see powder coating as a good enough reason to pass that limit, I could be looking at some crazy absurd fine, and it's not worth it. It really, like a $25,000 fine, it's not worth it. So I don't know how long this law is in place for, but we're just getting more and more locked down day by day, and it's no fun. All right, so I might have just found another factor that may have caused this car to actually die. I showed you guys the metal piece we already found out of the oil pan, but I was over here and I was in the process of just putting the studs back on the turbo so I didn't lose them, and I noticed there's a bunch of metal pieces in here, little tiny metal shavings. So I turned the turbo over, and on top of here, it looks like this whole section of this little top nut like sheared off, broke off, and at first I couldn't move this at all. I had to like press as hard as I could and it finally started spinning. Now it spins kind of fine, but before it wouldn't budge. So I'm not sure if this part sheared off or broke off and they got sucked through the turbo and then into the engine and then down and caused more problems in the bottom side of the car, but it looks not good. So now we have metal in the oil pan we already pulled out. It looks like this broke off, got sucked through here. I mean, all the fins on this look to be okay. Maybe a little bit of a nick right there possibly, but I definitely think it sucked some metal through the turbo and then into the engine. The top end, when I pulled it off the first time, looked okay, but I guess we'll see. So as we dig deeper and deeper into this engine, we'll see what other kind of fun surprises we come across.